This is the Dan Levatar Show with the Stugatz Podcast.
Always moved by our audience. It's been a blessed thing that Miami has given us. So those tickets sold out very quickly, and there will be more put on sale soon. Thank you. My brother and I are doing an event in Miami with music, sports, and art, and thank you guys for supporting that. Greg Cody of the Miami Herald in with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Stugatz actually did say before we turned the microphones on, I was surprised and pleased that they sold out that quickly. And Stugatz said, "You're welcome." I put it on Twitter.
Yeah. The power of the Stugatz army.
Yes. I would like for this party not to have too much of the Stugatz army.
So you want me to stop tweeting it?
Fragments of the Stugatz party.
I don't even know if Stugatz will be there.
Yeah, I don't think Stugatz will be there. Stugatz isn't on anything in the press releases because he lives so far away from things that are made in Miami. So yesterday, what we end up seeing is the first trade, and this is going to be fun to watch. And when basketball started gaining in popularity, we made a lot of fun of LeBron James for that decision. It was polarizing. He did something for charity. It's the most controversial thing he's ever done in his career. And he announced where he was going in free agency with a television show. And since then, basketball has exploded into this wonderful spectacle of personalities. And within that, the transaction became bigger than the action, where you're spending the off season, you're spending the end of your season, if your team's not any good, trying to figure out how do we land LeBron or his equivalent. And what you just saw yesterday, and I know that people are concentrating on Blake Griffin going to Detroit, but I think what you just saw yesterday is that the Clippers, the more interesting part of that story is the Clippers are now trying to get in the LeBron game.
Right.
And they will discard even a Blake Griffin in order to do so. Like that, they have decided that Blake Griffin, who many of us would say, if healthy, is a top 25 superstar in the league. This is how little the superstars in even that league matter. There are just now 5 that matter, basically, because Blake Griffin has just been traded so that the Clippers can maybe get in the LeBron game.
Right. Which is really interesting because the Clippers had won 7 out of 10. They were playing well. They're a half game out in the Western Conference, but they're telling you, yep, don't care about this year. Don't care about Blake.
Everyone's reporting that DeAndre Jordan's going to be next, that they're going to shut it down. Lou Williams, that they'll be traded before February 8th. But this is when this stuff gets interesting, where you see now, it's been a while since we had it, not since Durant, right? Where it felt like this, where again, it's going to happen, where teams are going to try and get in position to be one of the 6 or 7, because you're not just getting LeBron. You know this time it'll be LeBron and friends.
Correct.
Like, you know this time it's not going to be it's going to be LeBron and whatever team he wishes to build.
Right.
And now you're going to see who's going to start clearing that salary cap space, because it's the only way that they can get, like, Ballmer's not going to sit here, pay $2 billion for the Clippers and say, I'm riding out Blake Griffin, whatever that gives me.
No, and LeBron and friends, there are options this year. I mean, I don't know if Chris Paul would ever go back to LA to play with LeBron James for the Clippers, but Paul George is available. Like, LeBron can bring some serious friends here and put together a contender very quickly.
This is the first time it's happened, right? This is the first time right now that we've seen someone this clearly, publicly get in play for, we want LeBron.
Yeah, they're going all in for what will be LeBron's last big splash. But I think they are doing a smart thing. Blake Griffin, he's not what he was. I mean, he hasn't been an all-star in 3 years. He hasn't had a fully healthy season in 4 years. He's making $35 million. I mean, I think the Clippers are doing well.
Well, how about this one? If you've been listening to our show for a long time, you know that Stan Van Gundy is one of our most intimate friends, that he is somebody we all text him and tease him and love him. And he left the job with our show. That's what he left.
Yeah.
His job with our show to go become president of the Pistons and coach of the Pistons.
It paid better.
And yeah, it did slightly. Slightly. We were just laughing, Stugatz and I, the other day that about an elaborate thing where I was actually paying Stan Van Gundy, but I couldn't tell him that I was paying him because he wouldn't allow it. But local radio was so terrible. It was actually, I'm pretty sure, Greg Cody, you were involved in these negotiations, in that we couldn't pay Stan Van Gundy more than we were paying you.
Right.
And so I had to cover the difference personally.
Which is pretty hilarious.
So I had to run through a program director. Wait a minute. I got 2 program director stories for you guys. I had to run through a program director, like some cash where I'm like, can you just make sure that this check from us doesn't have my name anywhere on it, but just send it to Stan Van Gundy. So I was paying the president of the Pistons just to make sure that he was being properly compensated for doing local radio.
Now, he wasn't aware of this until a couple of days ago because we were on a group text, and to which he responded, was not aware, uncomfortable, but thank you, to which I responded, you're welcome.
That's right. Stugatz again there Stugatz took the credit there as well, said, my pleasure, happy to help. But what I was thinking about with Stan Van Gundy, and the reason I tell you the story is because I just feel bad for his predicament that getting Blake Griffin is a giant deal in Detroit. It's going to be exciting. You never get the big free agent superstar to go to Detroit and decide to live in Detroit. It's a big deal for him and his franchise, and all of you are yawning at it nationally. You're all looking at what would appear to be Stan Van Gundy headed toward the back end of this contract.
Right.
And the best that he can do is land a Blake Griffin. You got to give up a lot to get Blake Griffin, and it's the best you're going to do in Detroit. You can't really do better than Blake Griffin in Detroit than getting his contract and forcing Blake to live in Detroit when he doesn't want to live in Detroit.
Well, I think that's the interesting part of this because I heard Woj talking about it, and you're right, Dan. Like, Detroit can't attract a free agent in the offseason. The only way they can get a guy like this is by trading for a guy like this, and now you have him under contract for the next 4 years. Otherwise, you're not coming there.
You have to draft first and land a certified superstar in order to succeed that way, where you can't get in the game unless you overpay for broken Blake Griffin.
Right. And he's still, he gives that franchise a bounce because he's still a big name and they've struggled to fill that arena. So, there's going to be an immediate bounce. But I just think at this point in his career with his injury history, he's sort of a hollow 22 point scorer.
But
you can't win a lot with him.
Well, it's the right play for Detroit, though. Overspending on Blake Griffin, taking a chance. It's the only way you get Blake Griffin if he's kind of broken.
Yep.
So you overspend with draft picks, and it's Stan Van Gundy pushing all his chips to the table. Because I told you, remember earlier this season the Pistons were 11-4, and you were saying the Pistons are good, Dan, and I say Stan says they're not.
Right.
That he's not winning anything unless he gets a star.
I thought that team was going to be so good. The team that they had yesterday, I thought that team was going to be really, really good with Avery Bradley and Tobias Harris.
They gave up a lot to get him, but they got better. They won the trade.
I'd really like their squad and their chances of making the playoffs. Right now, they're the 9 seed. They'd have a chance to make noise if they had Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, Avery Bradley, and Tobias Harris. You remove 2 of those.
I know, Mike.
But he can't get them.
I know, but Mike, they've been the 8th seed the last couple of years. That's going to get Stan fired. He's got to do something. You can't just keep limping in as the 8th seed 500, and then you're going to lose to to the 1 seed in 4 games. I don't think that's what they lose in 4 games.
Yeah, plus they've lost 9 straight. I mean, 9 out of 10, 8 straight. I'm sorry about that.
Well, but that's the thing. Stan also had to overspend. I feel bad for him having to do that job because he also had to overspend on Reggie Jackson, because you can't just let Reggie Jackson leave once a talent like Reggie Jackson, which isn't great, but you've got it in Detroit. It's just hard to keep those people there.
I feel bad for teams stuck in the middle like Van Gundy in Detroit because it's such a top-heavy league with 5 or 6 elite players who really matter, and the secondary players, the Blake Griffins, they're just not enough. They're just not going to bring you where you want to go.
I can't believe we're talking about Blake Griffin already as a secondary player, and I can't believe that we're in a situation here where Blake Griffin is being moved. Stugatz, you're clearing out Blake Griffin to get LeBron James.
Of course you are.
That is a precipitous fall on the career of Blake Griffin.
Are you doing it thinking that somehow, someway you're thinking maybe you actually have a good chance at getting LeBron James?
They must
Otherwise,
be.
would you not make that deal?
No, Doc Rivers, I don't know what Ballmer's saying. I don't know what the agents of LeBron are saying. We've been talking about LeBron for L.A. Maybe we had the wrong L.A. franchise. Maybe. This feels like a trade. I don't feel like you make this trade if you're the Clippers unless you feel like you've got a really reasonable shot at getting LeBron James. And my guess is that you don't, if you're Steve Ballmer paying $2 billion for a franchise, you don't guess at that one so much. You got to talk to somebody and know somebody that helps you understand whether LeBron actually wants to be in Los Angeles, wants to be a global entertainment superstar doing movies. Ballmer's going to know these things. My guess is, this is all
Ballmer and Doc, I would think.
But I don't know. Doc less than Ballmer. Ballmer's not buying a team for $2 billion, watching it languish. He's not going to be a bad public owner. that stinks and gets rid of all their star players and doesn't make a big play. And the way to make the big play is you got to know something.
Yeah, you don't make this deal unless you know you can get in the room with LeBron at least. I also wonder
more than that.
I also wonder, do you make this deal if Blake Griffin is a really healthy 28-year-old who's never had an injury history who plays 75 games every year?
If it means you got a shot at LeBron, yes.
It's crazy that we're there. It really is. Blake Griffin, wasn't that bad a player a couple years ago. Now he's just cleared to make room for LeBron.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Tune in tonight for college basketball action as Vanderbilt battles Kentucky. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com, and the ESPN app. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Clippers have traded Blake Griffin, Bryce Johnson, and Willie Reed to the Pistons for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, Boban Marjanovic, and a first and second-round pick. The Cleveland Indians will eliminate the Chief Wahoo logo from their cap and jersey sleeves starting in the 2019 season, but will continue to sell merchandise featuring the logo so they can retain ownership of the trademark. That's convenient. 1-800-Flowers.com has the Valentine's gift she's guaranteed to love. Right now, you can get 12 multicolored roses for just $19.99 or double it to 24 multicolored roses for only $10 more. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Dan. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
I've got very exciting news. I just got an email that says, I'm in. No charge. Hank Azaria is the voice of our tournament.
Yeah! Hi, this is Papi. Do you know that my TV show Highly Questionable is not only on ESPN2 every day at 4:30 Eastern? It is also available as a podcast. You can listen or subscribe to the Highly Questionable podcast on ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don Le Batard.
So I say to Cody, you are great at donating other people's time. And he says, that's right. And then I say, and you're terrible at donating your own time. And he's like, that's right.
What's your point? I mean, somebody's got to be overseer.
You're not that person.
I am that.
No,
I'm a can-do man. Can-do, baby.
Doing it.
Exactly. Well put.
Stugats.
Why is he better being at being you than you are at being you on the radio?
I will have
he knows that the musical nature of this is that required to doing it.
You never know.
To maximum annoy me.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
So, Stugats, tell me your favorite of the giant comic book movies. What is your favorite?
Wow, of the giant comic book movies?
Have we ever seen reviews like the ones that we're getting for Black Panther? Like, is that something that we've seen? The reviews are, will save blockbusters.
Really? Getting that kind of,
yes, astonishing. Like something.
Well, I think Mike would probably know better. I've never been into comics. I've seen some of the movies, but was the Batman with Heath Ledger, was that one that was lauded as?
Yeah, the first Avengers got lauded, Captain America Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy. These are some examples of some comic book blockbusters that were very well received, but I'm super encouraged by the Black Panther reviews. That's awesome.
Well, I haven't seen reviews that are quite like this I can't remember when it comes to one of these movies. Like it feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm certainly no expert on these things, but it feels like we've had a lot of duds along this front, right? In the last 5 years.
Well, certainly on the DC side, Marvel's always pretty much well received. They rarely get bad reviews with their big blockbusters.
Greg Cody feels a little left out of this conversation. It's okay. Let me throw something in your wheelhouse. Did you see that this guy with the longest held record in Atari, an infamous Atari player, has been disqualified from his world record after 35 years?
Wow.
They have figured out. Did you play any?
That was one of the first video games I ever remember playing was Atari. Well, I can visualize the console and everything.
Well, you played Pong, correct? Is it Pong? Yeah. Is Pong not the original video game? Is Pong not the very first video game?
I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
I don't think it is.
I was a Ms. Pac-Man guy. I mean, that was my game.
Okay. Didn't really ask you that.
It's a great game, though, man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it still holds up.
Yeah,
It really
and
does.
I love the music.
I still love. So, this guy, Todd Rogers, in 1982, he set a world record time of 5.51 seconds in the Atari 2600 racing game Dragster. Last year, speedrunners called that score information into question. After a lengthy arbitration process, Rogers' score was removed from Twin Galaxies, an organization that tracks video game records and high scores. Wait a minute, you laugh. Video games are giant right now. This is where, This is the starting point. Video games have never been bigger than they are right now, right? This is the heyday of the video game right now. We're in the middle of it.
Video games have become a spectator sport, and the Miami Heat is peripherally involved with video gamers.
Yet young people need more than one stimuli.
There was a space game released before Pong. Many people will say Pong is the first video game. There is a space game. The company that created Pong will tell you they created a space game a year before Pong. So I'm just telling you, Pong
so
was
there's
the
a
second.
controversy? There's a controversy about whether Pong...
Most people recognize Pong as the original video game.
Okay, but there's a controversy.
Yes. Nutting Associates had already released their computer space game in 1971.
Okay, too bad.
Yes.
There were two people doing what Paul Revere were doing in different directions. Only one of them got to be Paul Revere. So go ahead and eat that.
By the way, I just went through the top 100 reviewed movies on Rotten Tomatoes all time, 5 of which are superhero movies, 3 of which are comic book superhero movies that were released in 2017. Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and Wonder Woman.
And were they good? Wonder Woman, I know, got critically... What were the reviews like on the other two movies?
The Dark Knight and Logan? Excellent.
Yeah,
it's in the top 100 Rotten Tomatoes movies of all time.
I didn't like
it's 99 and 100.
I didn't know the Blockbuster needed saving. As a guy who only casually follows moviedom, I thought blockbusters were prevalent.
Name the last blockbuster you saw.
Well, no. I think the threat to blockbusters isn't anything other than Netflix and all these other things that are keeping people out of the theater.
Okay.
That Black Panther, what they're saying when they're saying it will save blockbusters, it will make people not get out of their bed, get out of their Netflix, get out of their iPhones, go to a movie theater and save blockbusters by saving movie theaters.
Okay.
Which it can't do, but that's what they're talking about. They're talking about this being the biggest movie in the history of these kinds of movies. And when it's critically, because I saw what Wonder Woman was considered the high end of all of this, above Logan. Logan is critically
People loved Logan, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Logan, while a Marvel movie, it's outside of the Disney-owned Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least until this deal between Fox and Disney gets
You guys
approved.
not want to hear any more about this Atari cheater?
I do. I'm wondering how he cheated.
All right, next.
Time for Dan to reluctantly take part in something Stugatz couldn't be happier doing.
I tried to bring you back there, man. I mean, I gave you the details on the first video game ever. I mean, got stuck on Logan.
Guillermo, yeah, I did get stuck on Logan. You're right. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Did you know that Pong was the first video game ever?
It's not.
And also put on the poll, did you love Logan? A grown adult man needs to have, at the very least, one good suit in the closet. I don't have very many of them. I've just got jacket tops here. But regardless, if you're not a slob like me, the black tux is someone that's going to help you, even if you are a slob like me.
Everyone wants to look as great as their date at a wedding or special event. You really do. Who doesn't? Guys, thebblacktux.com is your answer with high-quality rental suits and tuxedos delivered to your doorstep. You don't have to leave the couch. That is the key. It's so convenient. Dan has used them. I've used them. I think just about everyone on the show has used the Black Tux. We all love them. The Black Tux lets you create your look or choose from tons of stylist-selected outfits without ever leaving the couch. Stand out at your next event for the right reasons. With the Black Tux, we're going to hook you up to get $20 off your purchase. Visit thebblacktux.com/Dan. $20 off right now. Thebblacktux.com/Dan.
Hold on a minute. Amin El Hassan, doing a personal show for me, says that he saw Black Panther last night It is the blackest blockbuster movie ever.
A Blackbuster. Yeah.
Dan Le Batard.
Who's the second most famous Frank?
Frankenstein.
Stugatz.
Pretty good.
It's also not his name.
Frank.
Nobody calls Frankenstein Frank.
His
Yes,
friends
they
do.
Of course his friends do. Dracula calls him Frankie.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Stephon Diggs is going to join us in a half hour. Vikings wide receiver, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Clippers have traded Blake Griffin, Bryce Johnson, and Willie Reed to the Pistons for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, Boban Marjanovic, and a first and second round pick. The Cleveland Indians will eliminate the Chief Wahoo logo from their cap and jersey sleeves starting in the 2019 season, but will continue to sell merchandise featuring the logo so they can retain ownership of the trademark. And finally, Bon Iver's Justin Vernon is furious with the Grammys. He took to social media to voice his complaints, tweeting, "Absolutely no offense to Mr. Mars, but you absolutely have to be bleeping me. Mr. Mars made a name in the industry by making hits out of hits of yesteryear. SZA, Kendrick, I'd say move on from this bleep show."
It's offensive. It's offensive that Bruno Mars won Song of the Year. Offensive.
Why is it offensive?
Because it's just a laughable song. Laughable. And if you're going to go laughable song, you got to go Despacito.
All right.
At least make it a popular, laughable song.
What are you making the rules now?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Laughable song, Despacito. It's a hit.
It is. Well, it's the biggest hit in the history of hits.
Despacito.
Don't ever do that again near me. Thank you.
Who's SZA?
It's one of Kendrick's artists.
Everyone wants to look as great as their date at a wedding or special event. Now you can with rental suits and tuxedos from thebblacktux.com. The Black Tux is your new way to rent online. To get $20 off your purchase, visit thebblacktux.com/Dan. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Sex by the fire at night, silk sheets and diamonds, all white. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. If you say you want a good time, well, here I am, baby. Here I am, baby. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Tell me what's on your mind, what's on your mind. If you want it, girl, come and get it. All this is here for you. Tell me, baby. Tell me, baby, what you're trying to do. Gold jewelry shining so bright, strawberry champagne on ice. Oh, go bleep yourself. Honestly, it's offensive. I'm offended on behalf of everyone who's ever made music that's the song of the year. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Should you be offended that that's the song of the year? I don't know why this one is the one that I'm fired up about.
It's so weird, man. Bruno Mars.
He's very talented.
He's super talented.
I'm not saying he's not. I am not saying he's not super talented. I'm saying that song is garbage.
All right, that's fair. I mean, if you don't like that song, you're saying he's talented, you just don't like that song in particular. But you
he's
like
super talented.
Yeah.
There's no disputing that Bruno Mars is talented.
It seems like you were disputing that, but I'm glad you're not.
Well, Song of the Year is a songwriters award, and he's taking issue with the actual lyrical content, it would appear.
It's garbage.
I think it's a well-written pop song. It's a pop song.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were reading a hook.
Okay, but if you're going to do popular pop song, Despacito is an international sensation that is the biggest song in the history of songs. If you're going to do it by popularity, if that's how you want to do it, if you want to make it pop.
Well, no, that's record of the year, which is just including production and everything. Like, what's the best song of the year? But song of the year, a lot of people think it's like, oh, what is this? That wasn't, but it's just a songwriters award.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel as strongly about it as you do.
Does anybody?
No.
Does anybody in the
is
world?
this upset about it? No.
Do you remember the time when we translated the lyrics to Despacito?
Yeah, they're terrible as well, but that's what I'm saying. If you're going to do, yes, not only do I remember that, I remember that Allison Turner, and this week is the only time that she has been more miserable than she was when she was asked to do this for this song. Can we do this with her with the Bruno Mars song from Radio Row when she gets up there shivering and is sitting next to Stephen A. Smith? Can we put her in the uncomfortable position
You want her to
where
sing?
she has to do the Bruno Mars song on Radio Row around people?
It actually, our recording sessions with Allison take longer than our recording sessions with Poppy.
All right, so here, do you want to hear about this Atari thing, Cody?
Yes, I do.
All right. So this guy, Todd Rogers, he had a world record score, Guinness World Book of World Record score of 5.51 seconds in the Atari 2600 racing game Dragster. I think it's the longest standing record in video games. And, quote, based on the complete body of evidence presented in this official dispute thread, Twin Galaxies administrative staff has unanimously decided to remove all of Todd Rogers' scores as well as ban him from participating in our competitive leaderboards, Twin Galaxies staff said on their message boards. The presented software analysis model concluded that achieving score times of less than 5.5 seconds is not possible under standard and normal play conditions.
Well, that's an outrage because you wonder how long did that record stand? Why did that record stand so long? Where was the oversight? Why did it take 35 years to get to the bottom of this? That's what you should be outraged about.
Is that how I sounded about the Oscars song?
Yes. All fair questions,
ridiculous.
by the way, by Greg. All very fair questions.
Is no record sacred?
Exactly.
Sports. This is why I love what Adam Silver's doing. Adam Silver's like turning the whole thing into a dice game. You know what? I'm going to make the All-Star game. I'll give you $100,000 for the winner, $25,000 for the loser. Over here, I want 1% of all wagers made on the NBA. That's what we need from our commissioner. Instead of all these commissioners protecting integrity, this commissioner's out here swaggering. Give me 1% of all wagers.
I love that. Did you see, by the way, the Pro Bowl, like how much the players cared towards the end of that game because there was money attached to it?
Well, that's this was something that was funny to talk about with Dominique, because if you put just a little extra financial incentive on some of these games, I know that most of you say, oh, it doesn't matter to these guys, they're so rich. But Dominique was sort of explaining the competitive nature, the stupid competitive nature of some athletes, the idea that it's not so much that you get the $75,000 extra dollars. It's that you took it from the other guy by beating it.
Correct.
That it's not really the money. The money doesn't matter that much. It's really just, I have it because I beat you.
Right. And if you're competitive, you're competitive. You want to win a $50 pot playing poker.
Correct. That's correct.
Imagine that game-winning shot, how good it feels if Chris Paul thinks he has the $100,000, but then LeBron hits a shot and takes it right away.
That's correct.
Yes.
That is the joy of it. But I love that this is what Adam Silver's like, all right, let's make it a dice game.
Stugatz wants a new boat. Time for some more ads.
It's funny because Goodell was on with Golick and Wingo today, and they were asking him about Adam Silver and the gambling stuff. And
oh, my God.
Goodell
did he sprint away from the phone?
Well, it was very clear. Stand on the sidelines and let's see how the NBA does.
That's right. We'll just be followers on this one. Yeah, see if there's an oil well they spring and then run under it. Jerry Jones must be so mad at Goodell. Wait, Jerry Jones is sipping that Johnny Walker Blue. And he's sipping the Johnny Walker Blue, and he's like, wait a minute. We can get into gaming? Why is basketball? Why is that guy who looks like a haunted house butler? Why is that guy getting basketball into gaming? And what's Goodell doing?
I've been keeping track since that Don Van Natta piece on Jerry Jones. You haven't been able to mention Jerry Jones without mentioning Johnny Walker Blue.
I was thinking of that.
Because in that piece, Don Van Natta, he got very close to Jerry Jones, and whenever he was very close to Jerry Jones, the scent was Johnny Walker Blue. It was at breakfast, it was in bathrooms, it was in lounges, it was when he was winking at people, it's when he was discovering oil, it's when he was cheating.
He can wink at people?
That's got to be a tough task.
That's a funny joke.
Don Lebatard.
You can't have fun when you're old?
Stugatz.
Look at me. I'm having a ball. Balling it.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Stephon Diggs, 15 minutes on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Super Bowl week. Talk a little pigskin with Stephon Diggs.
You know what's funny? We are a flying saucer of BS. We are a marching band to nowhere. In 10 minutes, we become a slalom course. In 10 minutes, we begin the Super Bowl coverage, and we're just going to be a slalom course of guests. And over here, it's going to be Stefan Diggs in the next segment. Hey, let's talk about child sex crimes with John Amici. And bang, is that Tony Saragusa selling diapers? Here we go. Slalom course.
I can't wait for it. Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed, at Levitard Show, at Stugat790, at Greg Cody. 1-800-Flowers.com has the Valentine's gifts you'll absolutely love. Right now, you can get 12 multicolored roses for just $19.99 or double it to 24 multicolored roses for only $10 more. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN.
All right, Mike, help me out here, because the rhythms of the show, we rarely have back-to-back guests and back-to-back segments. We like to let the show breathe a little bit. The show doesn't require guests. We're perfectly happy doing it without guests. But for some reason during Super Bowl week, these guys around here want to talk about everybody, talk to everybody in football, and I hate this week. Despise it. Allison Turner doesn't like it much more than I do. We've sent her to Minnesota. She's miserable, negative 10 degrees. She's miserable trying to get us guests from Radio Row.
Can I explain something to you, though? We love this week because it's the only week we can get these guests. The media relations staffs, which are basically rendered meaningless this week because everything's going through PR people and
it's going through capitalism. It's going all of these people selling stuff at the Super Bowl.
The media relations staffs for most teams in professional sports stay away from this show.
Okay.
Purposely.
Okay. Yeah, I don't blame them. There's no reason for them to come here, but we like to make fun of this week. The fact that the sports media is descending on this ridiculous mall in Minnesota, that we're going to be in a food court. We're going to try and have fun with this. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what we're going to do with Stefan Diggs. I don't want to talk to him about being Stefan Diggs. I don't want to talk to him about football. I want to talk to him about other stuff.
Let's talk to him about Pat Shurmur.
Oh, I don't want to talk to him about Pat Shurmur.
Why?
We have very exciting developments as far as what we're going to do from Minneapolis. We had an MC booked to sort of go through the mall and experience different things for us, and we could live vicariously through that person. That person, there was a mistake with the scheduling, couldn't end up making it, so we had to scramble, and we found an ample replacement. Okay, the original host was Marty Smith. It was going to be amazing. All the stars lined up, and we were going to have Marty Smith doing wacky stuff.
Just do our show for us.
Yeah.
Through Marty Smith. Through Marty Smith.
So what ended up happening is we ended up settling on a polar opposite of Marty Smith. So when you close your eyes and you imagine what is the opposite of Marty Smith, you probably landed on a black Kate Fagan. But shortly thereafter, you scan and you find Mina Kimes. And Mina Kimes is going to be doing our wacky stuff.
Really?
Wow,
Mina Kimes, accomplished business journalist, ESPN, the magazine writer. She is almost the opposite of Marty Smith. Okay.
Nice.
So this is what I want to ask you. In the middle of all this jumble, do we want to get on Todd Rogers, this Atari fraud? Do we want to get on this guy?
You're really trying to get this story off the ground.
Do we want to get in the middle of this mess? Is it funny to see if we have Allison from Radio Row while sitting next to Stephen A. Smith trying to get on the Atari? Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Lebitard Show. Do you want us to talk to the Atari cheat?
Oh, yeah. The man who's just been erased from the record books? What an outrage.
I'd like to talk to him. I mean, does it come at the expense of Stefan Diggs? How does this work?
I don't know.
What if the Atari guy can only do a time where we have an NFL guy booked?
Maybe we sneak him in around it. Maybe we sneak it in around Stefan Diggs. Like during the middle of the interview, hold on, Stefan, we got to talk to the Atari chief.
I admire your passion about this Atari story, and I'm in. Let's find this guy.
All right,
this is the biggest story of the week.
Let's report it.
Yep.
I want to also get into, though, you guys, this is very exciting. Our March Madness tournament, I don't want to just skip right past the Super Bowl to head to March, but our March Madness tournament is a lot of fun. Mike, how are we going to do this with Hank Azaria? Hank Azaria, the voice of The Simpsons, has agreed to do this, and it's immensely flattering for our show. But he's asking me how to do it, and I don't want to tell him. He's like, "Should I do it as Brockmeyer?" And I don't want to tell him how to be a funny guy.
You don't tell the artist how to paint, man. Just let him paint the picture.
I'm totally in on Brockmeyer doing our entire tournament. I know he has so many characters and they're iconic, but if he's doing this for free, which he is, he's got a show to promote.
Okay, but wait a minute. Is Brockmeyer the one that you'd want Brockmeyer ahead of all of his Simpsons characters?
Yeah, we want Brockmeyer. Yes.
Why do you love that so much?
Over all the Simpsons characters?
Yeah. over every one of them. Love Brockmeyer.